So I was on holiday in Thailand with a very old friend of mine who unfortunately is not here now. And we met this woman who was from the UK, and she said to me, she asked me how I was. And we were in this idyllic place. It was really, really beautiful. And she asked me how I was, and I went, if I could have left my head at home, I would be really happy here. And that one remark when she asked me how I was, and I realised that my mind was going like all the time, thinking. Even though I was on this beautiful beach, I had nothing to do, I had nice friends around, books, food was lovely, all of these things. But my mind was still going all the time about, when I go back to London, what's like this, what's like that. And it kind of just sort of sparked something. And when I came back to the UK, I decided after seeing some temples in Thailand and sort of, I don't know, maybe looking at Buddha images in the temples there, this beautiful reclining Buddha in Wat Po in Bangkok. I There was something there. I can't really explain it like in words so much, but it was just maybe a feeling. And so I went along to a weekend retreat in in the south of England, and it was the first time I'd ever meditated, and I found it incredible actually. I mean, I didn't even know much about meditation. Yes, I'd read one or two things, as I'm sure many of you have, or are interested in reading, and I basically started this journey. I'd been, as I said before, I'd been an addict. I'd got clean. I started my own business, but I was still kind of my thinking, all of these things were still very speedy, very reactionary. And I knew, I don't know, it's not something I knew intellectually, I knew in a sort of inside that I actually had to work and do something about this because it was causing me, the way I was causing me lots of problems. I'd often get in confrontations with people, not like serious fights and things, but just cross words or whatever. And I thought that I was actually the center of the universe. And what meditation or following Buddha's teaching has allowed me to do, or I'm in the process of, is sort of untangling that knot, actually, that was my thinking, my emotions, my feelings, which is actually who I thought I was. That I actually thought that was who I was. And I thought I was always at the mercy of those feelings, thoughts, emotions. But that I know now that that's not actually true. At the time I was. So the analogy that I often give is about, if you want a good body, unless you're incredibly blessed, uh, you actually have to work at it. You have to go to the gym, you have to go to yoga classes, go to exercise, whatever it is. And it takes quite a lot of effort. Well, the same is true of the mind, actually. You need to, it's the same muscle. It's like a muscle that needs to be sort of, I don't know, activated, or you have to put some kind of work into that. And actually, you get the same results. You don't get like a fantastic body or whatever, but the mind starts to become, I would say, more pliable or more manageable, or the thoughts come less quickly and not so many. And so that allows a bit of space. And in that space, one can start to look at things. So instead of one reacting, somebody does something that annoys you, there is a little gap there. So one is able to just look sort of in, as it were, and actually see, do I really need to react to this person? Do I actually need to say something? Maybe just actually just nodding your head and just going, okay, maybe that's good enough. And as I said earlier, I work in a hostel, London's biggest homeless hostel, and it can be quite an intense place, and there can be lots of things going on there. and we deal with people with highly complex needs. And so sometimes it can be pretty confrontational. And actually, I don't think I could do this job if it hadn't been for the fact that I've been practicing for some time, albeit not so well, but I have been practicing and doing meditation and receiving teachings, going to teaching events. And I think that I'm able to remain calm now, where I never was able to do that before. And so, for an example, we might get an uninvited visitor in a hostel. So we have to go up and ask them to leave. And obviously, before we get there, we have no idea who this person is, what they do. And it's really important when other people are agitated or people are going through difficulties to remain actually a bit calm, because if you sort of go up there and like you've got to get out and start sort of be demonstrating or remonstrating, whatever, actually that's not going to get you a good result. Whereas if you go up and you ask politely and say, we don't allow visitors here, we'd ask you to leave, this kind of is a better way of doing things. And I think this is what the practice, I mean, it's a very simple way of putting it, but it just allows more space. And the other thing that I think on a very personal level, whereas before I would get myself into situations, circumstances where maybe trouble would arise. I don't mean like just mental trouble, actually. I don't put myself in that situation so much anymore. And that is for me the main point. So just because somebody is confrontational with you, it doesn't actually mean, in whatever way, physically, verbally, emotionally, whatever, it doesn't mean you have to react. You have a choice. And what I think the teachings give is actually the space to make a wise decision or a more informed decision.